online.
Hey guys, B4MVFan here, and today I'm bringing you my full review for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And it's going to be broken down into 3 different segments, starting with the campaign, followed by the Exo Survival, and finally wrapping it up with the multiplayer. Now, if you guys have not finished the campaign and don't want anything spoiled, I highly suggest just skipping ahead and going to the next segment. Otherwise, it's going to be full of spoilers and no holding back. So let's just go ahead and get started. So with the multiplayer this year, I didn't find it very difficult. I was able to beat it on Harden in with very few deaths. It was very action-packed, as every single Call of Duty game usually is. Lots of car chases, explosions, and intensity and chasing down. So that was there. It was present. But the overall story was very predictable. Your character, Jack Mitchell, joins the Marine Corps. His best friend dies. His best friend's father owns Atlas, which is Irons. You lose your arm in the Marines, and he gives you a second chance by building you an arm. So now you are in debt to him, basically. As you go, it turns out, with power comes, corruption. So Irons becomes corrupted, and then you go against him toward the end of the game. Like I said, it was very predictable when I heard about the story prior to its release, and I already saw what was going to happen. So, I mean, I wasn't really blown away or left, really feeling like, oh yeah, can't wait. However, I will admit, the way the game ended, which, I mean, if this is the spoiler portion, so if you want, go ahead and skip ahead a couple of seconds if you want. Anyways, the ending, it was kind of odd. It didn't leave off like Ghost did. Your character ends up killing or chasing down Irons, and you destroy your arm, and he falls to his death, probably 1,000 stories in fire. So he's definitely dead. And the final quote from Mitchell, which I believe he said that, this was just the beginning, there's still plenty of war left, if I recall, or something along those lines. So it didn't really leave it with a huge cliffhanger like Ghost did, there's guaranteeing a Ghost 2, so I don't know what direction they're going to be taking this. Although I'm happy that they did it this way, still, it's more or less kind of okay, it's just okay, that happened. That's just basically how I felt after I finished. I'm okay, maybe they'll show something after the credits like they do with Ghost. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yes, I felt extremely just kind of okay, I beat it. Hooray. So, campaign, very action-packed. I mean, it's still fun. As you can see, the gameplay is one of the levels where you get a hold of one of the Atlas tanks. That was actually pretty fun. I had a really fun time doing this, and that's why I recorded, because, like I said, it's one of the more fun portions of it. You get to drive a motorcycle at some point, There wasn't really a stealth level. I mean, there's a couple stealth moments, but not really a stealth level like there usually is in every game, but, very action-packed. The graphics for the game look extremely clean, especially on PS4. But yeah, story, meh, just as I predicted. But it still has its moments. It has its fun moments, and can't really complain. So the campaign, out of a 10 system, I'd probably give it like a 7.5. Story was the storyline itself was really meh, but I mean it still had a lot of action, a lot of gasp moments. But I mean, still not half bad. Not half bad for Sledgehammer's first campaign. So hopefully they'll bring Advanced Warfare 2 either correlating with the storyline or do something different, kind of like Black Ops 2 did. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that concludes the campaign part. We're going to go ahead and jump into the exosuits right now. Exo Survival Mode is it's kind of a combination of zombies, which I'll get into later, from the Black Ops series, and then the Modern Warfare series, where they did with survival mode. So how it goes is that you spend points to get better equipment and kill streaks. However, since the new Exo abilities, there are 3 different types of suits. There's light, specialist, and heavy. Those certain classes correlate the kind of armor, movement, and weapons you'll be stuck with. Now, the goal basically is that there's a variety of maps. However, if you go into the private match, you can see that there are different tiers. Now, as many people have probably already come to figure out, is that if you reach the final tier, you unlock the map Riot, which if you beat Riot, which I believe should be all 50 rounds, 100 rounds, I think it's 100 rounds. After you do all that, you unlock a secret cutscene that leads to what was confirmed to be zombies, which they will be later releasing into DLC. We're not aware of whether that's going to be a regular zombies mode or if it's just going to be zombie enemies correlated. So, but it was still to everyone's surprise that it was there. I mean, it was talked about all throughout, you know, like its release and the trailer release in May and all that. So, I mean, it's there and it's going to be there. But as for the survival mode, the actual game itself, it's very fun. The difficulty is interesting. It starts really hard, especially if you're using the light class like I am. You don't have really great weapons and or armor. So it takes a lot of teamwork, and just like zombies, you need to have a good place to kind of hold down. Like, as you can see on Horizon, I believe it says you can just hold down in the middle here and they only come through one doorway. So you just got to keep, you know, just holding down the fort. Now, if you complete, I believe it's 25 rounds, you will flip the map, which means that you start over. The enemies that come out of the quality of enemies will be restarted. At that point, you can go ahead and switch classes, perhaps, or you can keep the ones you have to kind of just get a feel for, you know, trophy hunting and all that. If you pass it again, it will become, after 25 levels squared or flipped, you will then flip the map again, and then it just proceeds to unlock the zombies mode later on. So far, I've done this. This is the furthest I've ever gotten, is on Horizon. However, some of the other maps, it just really takes a good team. Like the other map, like certain maps, you don't have a good hiding place like this map does. A lot of them, you just really just gotta hold down the fort. Another thing that's interesting about this game mode is that there are objective rounds. So you can't always just hide in the corner and just beat the crap out of your enemies. Sometimes you will have to hold down a hard point. You have to go to a certain area and get defensive kills. There will be like search and rescue where you have to defuse EMP bombs. It's a way to keep the game fresh and not keep it so dull like in zombies, where, I mean, if some of you that are good, you don't just sit there in the corner and be like, okay, like I'm kind of bored now, just, you know, let's just kill ourselves and just end it. So it keeps the mix going, keeps it fresh. Like I said, I haven't unlocked the zombies mode. However, I've seen people play it, such as Ali A, and I believe who was it? Some other guy I've watched that did it. So I mean, it's there, but I haven't played it. This game mode gets, like I said, it's just like, I don't know, it's not my particular taste. I get tired of it after a while. However, it's still pretty fun to play. Like if you're looking to mix things up, if you're not a big multiplayer guy that's not very good at multiplayer, this is another alternative to that, to still socialize and play with other people. So got pretty far in this round. Like I said, I think we ended up getting to 17. My team, I was playing with randoms and they were already ready to just quit. However, I was not, because I needed the time. But you know, whatever. I just needed gameplay footage for this video. In case you guys also can't tell, sorry to kind of throw everything off. I am going off of free write, no script. I didn't have time to do a script this week, so sorry for the casualness and a lot of us. But anywho, so that's my take on survival mode. Now, out of a 10 rating system, I would probably give it I'll give it an 8. It's still pretty fresh. It's still a throwback to Modern Warfare 3. It's, you know, it's reimagined, and it satisfies both parties of doing survival for Modern Warfare 3 and also doing the zombies portion for all the Black Ops Treyarch fans. So I feel like it fulfills both parties. As to the structure, as the story, like in Black Ops 2, where they structured a story similar, there's none, I don't believe. The only gripe I have, which I hope they do for Advanced Warfare 2, unless this succeeds, is in Modern Warfare 2, and I believe Modern Warfare 3 also had this, was a co-op game modes that had missions. So like my favorite from all time, I don't know if you guys remember, but from Modern Warfare 2, there was Hold Down Burger Town, where you had to stay in the objective and just hold it down. You know, like I had tons of fun doing that, you know, with my buddy playing it on Veteran and trying to unlock all 69 stars. It was a blast. So I wish they would have brought that back, but this just works just dandy. You know, there's nothing really wrong with it. So 8 out of 10. You know, no story structure, but it keeps busy, and it's definitely for those who aren't a big multiplayer type of player, basically. So that concludes the Exo survival mode portion and zombies portion. we're going to go ahead and move on to the multiplayer part, which is everybody's, you know, bread and butter, the whole reason why everybody buys this game every year. So I should be finishing up my death right about now. I tried using the kill streak to save me, but I could not. My gun's overheating and I can't save myself. So that's how my round ends. That's how the game ends. But we did pretty well. I think we went for about an hour. I think we'll see at the end of this clip here. It'll show about an hour. But anyways, yeah, like I said, we're going to be heading to the multiplayer portion now, which I have a pretty interesting review for that, so stick around. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Multiplayer. The main reason every 10-year-old comes at midnight to play this game. A lot has changed in multiplayer. A lot of good things, not a lot of bad, but still bad. Let's start with the very first thing that everyone would notice would be the exo movement abilities. Now, Advanced Warfare introduced the exoskeletons, which is becoming a real thing in real warfare. So, with the exo abilities, you're able to double jump, boost, strafe, dodge, and do a lot of movement with it. And it makes you faster. You can sprint unlimited. You can, you know, grasp onto building tops a lot quicker. Double jump, like I said. Some of the exo abilities, which I will get into later, I'll let you hover. But that's one of the first things that was new to the series. Next up, we're going to talk about the weapons. There's not a lot of weapons in this Call of Duty game. Usually there's about a good variety. This one there's not so much. I believe there's about only 5 or 6 per category. So, I mean, a little disappointed on the weapon side of it. However, every weapon just feels about the same as of, you know, today, as of the first, only one patch so far. So every weapon just feels the same. Nothing feels like it's overpowered. Nothing really feels as if it has an advantage. So it's really hard, especially for me, trying to find out class setups, trying to figure out what works best, considering that every gun does roughly about the same amount of damage. Perks are back. Some of them are old favorites like Scavenger and Toughness. Some are brand new, such as Overcharge and let's see, there's another one, Gun Ho. So I mean, there's a lot of new changes. Some of them don't really work. Like, I don't really find Overcharge to be a great perk, but I mean, it's there. In fact, actually, on this particular class that I'm using at the time, yeah, I didn't even use a perk one because I didn't find them very important. Pick 13 system is back. It lets you, just like in Black Ops 2, you're allowed to pick up to 13 things, including kill streaks, perks, lethals, your exo ability, and sidearms. So, adds up to 13. And you can just create your class however you like. You don't want a secondary, don't have a secondary. Don't want a perk 1, don't have a perk 1. So let's you just go ahead and make everyone's classes unique. Another thing that was really introduced into the game was supply drops. Supply drops are a type of way to get new pieces of equipment and armor for show, kind of like ghosts. And there's also different variants of weapons. So one particular weapon I have, the KF5, it has an additional rate damage. However, it's a negative to accuracy. So it changes the outlook of the gun as well, but it also changes the stats. So everyone has like their own unique taste. Like if you want a gun that you like this particular gun, but you wish it fired faster. Like for me, it would be the AK-47 or AK-12. I wish it would fire faster. There is a hair trigger version which lets you have an increased fire rate with negative accuracy. So I mean, there's something for everyone depending on what kind of gun you like. If you like a particular gun, but you wish it would do something else, well, there could be a variant for that. You get supply drops for any given reason. Generally, like every 5 games, after your first death, you usually receive one. At least that's what I've been coming across. So that's also new. Kill streaks are also really new too, which is interesting because this is one of my favorite parts about the new multiplayer. With your kill streaks now, there can be added bonuses to make it more difficult. So for example, the UAV is only 400 points standard. Now, you can increase things on it to make it more effective, but it costs more points. As you can see, I have 450 for my UAV. What the extra 50 does is that it lasts a lot longer. You can add even, get more assist points. You can make it as a counter UAV as well. You can make it like an advanced UAV where you see where enemy direction and stuff like that. So you can add up to 3 special tiers onto it, but it makes it more difficult but more fun. So it increases the challenge and makes even small kill streaks seem rewarding, like the UAV or even the recon drone, which is only worth 300 standard. So it really just depends on the kind of game you want to play. whether you want to challenge yourself and try to go for heavy kill streaks such as the Paladin, the Warbird, or even the Aerial Assault Drone, you can just make it a kill machine. Next up, I'll talk about the new game modes. Uplink is going to be a new game mode that was introduced. Momentum is a rehashed of War from World at War, but it's still the same concept. Those are they're fun. Momentum I find really quick, and Uplink is really difficult. It's definitely a team game. I could see that being an esport game, but it's not my cup of tea. It's just I die a lot because I play the objective, and it gets frustrating towards the end. But it's still new, it's fresh. I like that they're introducing things. It's about as revolutionary as when they introduced Kill Confirm in Modern Warfare 3, which I'm currently playing. So, a lot of good things for this game. A lot of bad things would be like the one-shot pistol, the RSW-1. I don't know why they brought that in there, but it's there. Another negative thing I never really quite understood was the exo abilities themselves. I never find myself using them that often. I mean, for search and rescue, I'll use the mute button, but I mean, I didn't find myself using it all that often. But I mean, I don't know, everyone uses them. Some people do, some people don't, but I mean, that's just, you know, my opinion. So almost out of clip here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up. I will be doing next week, I will have my first Advanced Warfare class setup guide, so be on the lookout for that. I'll be for Team Deathmatch, and the following week I believe I'm gonna be doing Search and Rescue / Search and Destroy. So thank you guys for coming by. If you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and share the video. Help spread the word. I'm hoping this year to get at least 100 subscribers by 2015, but let's see what happens. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. This is B4MB Fans, signing out.